Current Eastern Conference NHL standings and playoff projections.
Hey, Platy. Gonna do a video on hockey. Hey, folks. So we're going to talk about the standings so far in the NHL's Eastern Conference. We're going to go through the Atlantic Division and the Metro Division, and then we'll go through the wildcard implications, who's in, who's out. We're going to focus a little bit on the three Canadian teams, Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators, and Toronto Maple Leafs for the Eastern Conference. In a day or two, we'll do a similar thing for the Western Conference. We're going to break it down into two parts. So we're going to start off with the Atlantic Division. Putting my glasses on so I can see my notes. First place in the Atlantic, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 32 games in, 18-11-3 record for 39 points. Also was 39 points, but one more game. Detroit Red Wings was an 18-12-3 record. In third in the division, the first Canadian team, the Montreal Canadiens, 32 games, was a 17-11-4 record for 38 points. Tied with them on points is the Boston Bruins, but Boston has played one more game, giving Montreal the tiebreaker. Boston has a 19-14-0 record. They're sitting at 38 points. Florida Panthers, winners of the Cup the last 2 years, they're 31 games in, 16-13-2 record. They're at 34 points, followed by the Toronto Maple Leafs, 31 games, 14-12-5, 33 points. Ottawa Senators come up next, 31 games in, a 14-13-4 record for 32 points. Bringing up the rear in the Atlantic Division is the Buffalo Sabres, who today fired their general manager, Kevin Adams. They have a 14-14-4 record, 32 points, NHL 500, but last in the Atlantic. In the Metro, leading the way, the Carolina Hurricanes, after 32 games, with a 29-2 record, good for 44 points. That's first in the Metro, also first in the Eastern Conference. Right behind them, the New York Islanders, performing better than expected this year so far. 33 games in, they're 19-11-3 for 41 points. They are followed up in third in the division by the Washington Capitals with an 18-10-4 record for 40 points. Philadelphia Flyers, 31 games in, 16-9-6. That's good for 38 points and fourth in the division. Right behind them, Pittsburgh Penguins, also 31 games in, 14-8-9 record, 37 points. Sixth in the division after 33 games, New Jersey Devils, 18-4-1, 37 points. They're struggling a little bit right now. Seventh in the division, the New York Rangers, 33 games in, 16-13-4 record, 36 points. They're good on the road. They've been terrible at home. Bringing up the last place in the division and currently last place in the Eastern Conference, the Columbus Blue Jackets, 32 games in. They are 13-6 for 13 points. 13 points for 32 points. So there's your Atlantic Division and the Metro Division. Top three teams automatically seeded into the playoffs. So going into the playoff stats, the wildcard race, the Atlantic, of course, we have Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Montreal seeded 1 through 3rd with 39, 39, 38 points respectively. In the Metro, we've got Carolina Hurricanes at 44 points, the Islanders 41, Washington Capitals 40 points. Wildcard race. There's two wildcard slots up for grabs, as you all know. It was the first wildcard slot after 31 games. The Philadelphia Flyers have a 16-9-6 record. That's good for 38 points, which would be tied for third in the Atlantic Division. However, they are obviously in the Metro Division, so they are 2 points behind the Washington Capitals. Second wildcard slot currently belongs to the Boston Bruins, who are playing much better than expected this year. They, after 33 games, have a 19-14-0 record, good for 38 points as well. So tied with the Flyers on points. Flyers have a two games in advantage, two games in hand, gives them the tiebreaker. That's what I'm trying to say. Got to learn how to talk. Right behind Pittsburgh, the first team on the outside of the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who just made that big goaltender trade with the Edmonton Oilers. Pittsburgh, after 31 games, has a 14-8-9 record for 37 points. Tied with them on points, but having played two more games at 33 games, is the New Jersey Devils. They are 18-4-1, obviously 37 points, like I said. Behind them, we have the Rangers, who are good on the road, terrible at home. New York Rangers, after 33 games, of course, as I said earlier, 16-13-4, 36 points. I'm not going to go over the games, the win and loss record. We did that earlier. The Rangers are followed by Florida at 34 points, Toronto at 33, Ottawa at 32, Buffalo at 32, Columbus at 32. So in the playoff picture right now, if the playoffs were to start, we'd have Tampa Bay, Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens from the Atlantic. From the Metro, top three, Carolina, New York Islanders, Washington Capitals. And the two wildcard slots, one would go to the Philadelphia Flyers, one to the Boston Bruins. So we have 4 teams from each division that would make the playoffs if they were starting right now. However, they don't start right now. The playoffs, they start in the spring after 82 games. That's just the way it works. Outside of the playoffs, then we have the Pittsburgh Penguins, New Jersey Devils, the New York Rangers, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa Senators, Buffalo Sabres, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So as I said, we're focusing a bit on the Canadian teams. Montreal is the only team from Canada currently in the Eastern Conference in a playoff position, at third in the Atlantic. Our other 2 Canadian teams, Toronto Maple Leafs, they're a ways back. They are 5 points outside the playoff picture, but they also have 4 more teams ahead of them, so they have to catch those 4 teams, pass them, plus one of the current wildcard teams, so they have to catch and pass 5 teams. Ottawa Senators, slightly worse. They are 1 point further back, 6 points out of the playoff picture, 1 point behind the Leafs. So yeah, the Ottawa Senators have to pass 6 teams. So Ottawa, having made the playoffs last year, it looks like they were on the upswing. It would probably be a playoff team this year for sure. Same with Montreal. I think Montreal is going to make it. Ottawa, I'm not so sure. Toronto, not so sure they're going to make it either. They're having a host of troubles, a lot of injury trouble. Stolarz still hasn't skated since November 11th. It's a long shot if the Maple Leafs are going to make the playoffs. But what do you guys think? Who from the 3 Canadian teams will make the playoffs this season? Who's going to be on the outside looking in? Currently, Philadelphia and Boston with the wild cards. Any of the other teams below them do you think are going to make the playoffs? We've got Pittsburgh, New Jersey, the Rangers, Florida Panthers, Toronto and Ottawa, Buffalo and Columbus. I am saying Columbus misses the playoffs, Buffalo misses the playoffs, Ottawa misses the playoffs, Toronto should be a playoff team, but I just don't know if they're going to get it together. Seems they're finding ways to lose. Florida Panthers, they should get it together. They got Tkachuk coming back soon. Surely they're going to get on a winning streak, so they should make the playoffs. Rangers, I don't think they will make the cut. Same for New Jersey. Same for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a much better start than anticipated, but I think they're going to start tailing off and start falling outside of the playoff race. So I've only got 1 team that I'm projecting is going to move up, possibly 2 if Toronto can get it together, but that's iffy. Florida should make it, so 1 team would have to drop out. Who do I think that would be? I would say that would probably be the Boston Bruins, who currently has the 2nd wildcard slot. I think they are definitely overachieving this year, and if anybody's going to fall out, it's probably them. So it could also be the Flyers or maybe Detroit. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to make it and who's not. Weigh in on Toronto in particular. Where do you think that's going to go? Maybe you want to chip in about Montreal or Ottawa or any of the other teams mentioned. And let me know your thoughts. Anyways, that's it for now. I'm going to hit the stop button on the camera and then edit this up and get it out there for you fine folks.
Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and send me a subscribe, and I would really appreciate it.